All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Saja Ahmed. I'm the Director of Ulster County Area Transit, or UCAT, and we're going to get started today with our relaunch and informational session. We're just going to go briefly through the agenda. I'm going to introduce some of the other people who will be talking to you all tonight, and just want to thank everyone for hosting us, the Restorative Justice Center for hosting us, and the county for making sure this happens. And also a big thank you to Radio Kingston for recording and making sure the public can access this. All right. So I'm going to go through the agenda really quickly. We're going to do some introductions, an update on the COVID-19 protocols for UCAT, talk to you guys a little bit about our new logo, what's next for our website and social media presence. We are going to have some new schedules for people, and then we will go into actually our expansion of service, which will be happening in August 2021 in just a little bit over a month. We're going to go over some of our services for our seniors, talk to you about what our dispatch office can do, and then we'll open it up for questions from the public. So I'm going to do the introductions. I'm going to ask that our everyone else just stand. I think the mic is off, but obviously I'm Saja Ahmed. I introduced myself earlier. I'm the director. With me, I have Tony Rozier. She'll reintroduce herself again when she's going to be presenting some slides. And we have Mike Olivieri, our dispatch and operations coordinator. So first things first, I'm going to go over some of our COVID-19 updates for our riders and people who are planning to be on our buses. So the mask mandate is still enforced inside UCAT buses and all transit buses around the country. So that's transit buses, on planes, on trains. You have to wear your mask when you're on a UCAT bus, regardless of your vaccination status. This is a federal mandate that's in place by the CDC and also the Transportation Security Administration. It's not set to expire until September, and it will be it's what we have in effect today, and I don't see that changing. We have disposable masks available on every single UCAT bus. You can ask the driver for one if you don't have one. If you can't wear a face mask or face covering, we can provide you with a face shield. Our drivers have access to those as well. And the bus driver can deny you a ride if you refuse to wear a mask or face covering, and if it's not covering your mouth and nose. We've made it so far in COVID-19 over the past almost year and a half now, and we really want to just continue to be as safe as possible. Our drivers are exposed to a lot of people every single day, and regardless of vaccination status, it's just a better practice. We are finding that you might get sick a little bit less if you're wearing a bus on an enclosed indoor space. So there are a lot of benefits. In addition to our mask mandate, we also will continue to employ enhanced cleaning on our buses. Most of our employees, they've had access to the vaccine and have been vaccinated. And sometimes I will get a call in my office where someone's calling and saying, oh, your bus driver is not wearing their mask. Well, our bus drivers do not have to wear a mask if they are the only person on the bus. So that is something that they're allowed to take it off. They have 8 to 10 hour shifts and they're wearing their masks throughout the day. So they may just want a break from that. And I just ask that the public chip in with some kindness here. This has been a really difficult year for everyone in society. And, I know it's an inconvenience. I know that, in other areas, you may not have to wear the mask, but on UCAT buses, please, please, please continue to wear the mask. We are required to enforce the rule by the TSA and other agencies, and we could get in trouble if we're not enforcing the mask mandate on our buses. So with that, we're going to talk about some more fun things. We have a new logo. You You may have seen it on some of our social media, and it's on a few of our newest buses. We're in the process of completely changing our fleet and getting it on to all of our buses so we have some uniformity. You may know our old logo as the green and yellow with the "We'll take you there" tagline. We're kind of going to move away from that. And this was a result of a collaboration between SUNY Ulster and an amazing graphic designer, Kate Brodowska, who created this logo. So I just want to thank her. So this is going to be our new UCAT logo that's going to be appearing on all of our buses. So originally this info session was supposed to include the launch of our new website and a few other things that we have in the works. Obviously, COVID and other issues sometimes delay us, but I'm really excited to tell you all that we will be relaunching our new website very, very soon. It will be more streamlined, it'll be easier to access, and even starting today, you can access our website by just going to the very easy to remember URL, rideucat.com. So you can just type that in. In the past, you've had to go through the county website and do some, backslashes and things like that. So we've gotten rid of that. And you can just go to rideucat.com. We're also really excited to announce that we have a YouTube channel now called Ride UCAT as well. Our first video that we post will be this info session for people. And we also are in the process of starting an Instagram. We're hoping that we can put alerts and delays in the Instagram story function so our dispatch can update people that way. We just want to be in as many locations as possible so our riders really feel like they're getting good, up-to-date communication from our staff. So I just mentioned our new schedules. So for years, I've gotten a lot of feedback about our schedules being very difficult to read. We worked on a project with Kingston Creative. We don't quite have them ready to release to the public, but they will be available on our website. We'll have printable versions, and the new schedules will correspond to each route. So we won't have this big fold out kind of difficult to manage schedule anymore, and we'll have schedules that are tailored to each route. They're more intuitive, they're easier to read, they're on one sheet of paper. I know people often give us feedback on the multiple inserts that we have right now, and it does create more paper, and we're really counting on people to keep the schedules, to conserve them, and not ask for a new one every single day, because that will just drive up our costs and then we won't be able to do that. But I think that this will be a great way for people to really understand the routes that they rely on every day, and they'll always be available online. So I'm really excited to announce that starting in August 2021, we will expand back to our full service. If you go to our website, if you go to rideucat.com right now, you can see a preview of the changes that we're thinking about for August 2021. For the past almost year and a half, we have not had a few of our routes in place. So that's the College Link route, which connects SUNY Ulster and SUNY New Paltz, which we've had to suspend for the pandemic because of low ridership. And we've also had a driver shortage, which continues today, but we're excited that we've been tweaking the schedules a bit and we can go back to our full service levels completely. We've been pretty much at full service since August, September of 2020, but there are some routes and some times for some runs that haven't been back in place yet. So we're excited to scale back up. We wanted to talk to you before we go through all of our fixed routes about flagging the bus. People may not know that the UCAT system, with the exception of 2 routes in Kingston where it's quite unsafe to do so, is a flag bus service. So this means that passengers can hail a bus from a safe location. It's very similar to hailing a taxi. The blue and yellow routes in Kingston, because of all the road work, we're asking people not to flag the bus from the middle of a block. And I think we might be discussing that in further detail, but just in order to flag the bus, you must be standing on the same side that the direction that you're going in. So the bus will not pick you up if you're across the street. It is not safe to cross in front of a bus, or in reality, a lot of the county roads and these larger roads that we operate on, it's very unsafe to do that. So we really ask that people be hailing the bus and flagging the bus from the same direction. If you're doing so at nighttime, very early in the morning, we suggest that you have a light source. We do have some flashlights that you can request if you plan to be a frequent rider. You can use the light on your phone, but anything that will scale up your visibility for the driver, because we really want the driver to see you. And we really want you to be in a visible location for the driver as well, so you don't get potentially skipped over or anything like that. So with that, we're going to go over the UCAT fixed routes. So one of the reasons we're having this presentation is because for many, many years, the feedback we got was that UCAT was not doing enough outreach, not educating the public enough about the system and the services that we do or offer. So this may get a little bit tedious, but the reason we're doing it is so we can actually cut up some of these sections and create videos on our YouTube channel that describe the different routes that we have. And our fixed route service is the service that runs throughout the day. It's open to everyone based on a fare structure. And with that, I'm just going to get started. We're going to run through them quite quickly. I'm going to hand it off to Tony Rozier, my Deputy Director, who's going to discuss the City of Kingston routes.
Hi, I'm Tony Rozier. I'm the Deputy Director at Ulster County Area Transit, and today we're going to give you a little recap of the city routes that we're running right now. So in the City of Kingston, we run 3 fixed routes: the red route, the yellow route, and the blue route. Beginning in August.
I'll change it for you.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, so I probably don't. Beginning in August, we have some changes that we are going to start to implement. And the first thing being that our service hours are now going to be from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. on Monday through Friday. And also our Saturday service would be 8:30 to 6 o'clock p.m. We also want to let you know that the City of Kingston fares will be free for the rest of 2021. As Sasha said, we do have a flag system for our bus system. The City of Kingston routes, though, cannot be flagged on Broadway. We ask that if you are going to flag a bus, you flag it at the end of the block, not in the middle of the block. It's unsafe, cars are parked, and it's just easier for the bus driver to see you. There's ongoing construction in the City of Kingston, and we realize it. We will try to keep our Facebook page updated daily to let you know what detours we will be taking for those routes. Also, beginning on August 1st, 2021, the red route hours of service are going to change. They'll be 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And from 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., the service will be a request only. You can request this service by calling our dispatch line, and that's always listed on our website, but I can give it to you right now. It's 845-334-8458. So if you need service from 3:30 to 5:30 on the red route, please call our dispatch line. If for some reason you need it a little bit later than that, reach out to dispatch. I'm sure that they will try to help you out. So our blue route runs up and down Broadway. We run from the Kingston Plaza to Poughkeepsie. During the months of July, August, and September, if you request to go to Kingston Point, we can drop you off at Kingston Point, not right at the beach, but at the corner of North and Broadway. Just ask your driver, make a call into dispatch, either way works. Our hours of operation for the Blue Route are also 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And on Saturday, it's from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Our Red Route is the second route in Kingston. That goes from Uptown to Golden Hill. It starts at Kingston, actually it starts at our transit center at 1 Danny Circle at Golden Hill, and it goes to the plaza. Those hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, and Saturday, 8 to 6. As I said before, the Red Route is on request between 3:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Last but not least, our Yellow Route goes to Port Ewan. We do service the Port Ewan area and also some of the senior complexes like the Birches in Port Ewan. We also service Yasmin Towers, Colonial Gardens, and Wiltwick Gardens. Our hours of operation for the Yellow Route are the same as the Blue, 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. and Saturdays 8 to 6. Please, if you're going to flag this bus on the 9W route, make sure you're in a safe location that the bus can stop. The bus needs plenty of room to pull off of the road so that cars can go around them and keep you safe and themselves safe. That's it for the City of Kingston routes. I'm going to hand it over to Mike Oliveri.
Good morning, everyone. I am Michael Oliveri. I'm in charge of the operations for Ulster County Area Transit, and I'm going to be talking about the rest of the fixed route services as well as our Paratransit service. So the next one that we are bringing back effective August 1st is the College Link route. It was suspended due to COVID and limited students that were actually in person at SUNY Ulster and SUNY New Paltz. The hours of operation for this run are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And it provides service to Stone Ridge, Cottikill, Tilson, and the town of New Paltz along Route 32. The next route we'll be talking about is the EU route. This offers services between the Kingston Plaza and the village of Ellenville along Route 209. Hours of operation of this run are from 6:20 a.m. until 10:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturday service is available between 7:50 a.m. and 6:20 p.m. And the EU route provides services to Kingston, Hurley, Stone Ridge, Kerhonkson Accord, and Napanock in the village of Ellenville, as well as stopping at Walmart in Napanock. The next route we'll be discussing is the Kingston Poughkeepsie Loop or route, which services the Kingston Plaza to the Poughkeepsie train station along Route 9W. This route operates 7 days a week, and it provides service to Kingston, Port Ewan, Ulster Park, Highland, and Poughkeepsie. This is one of the routes that since we do cross over the bridge and we do cross county lines, the fare structure is a little different, and we will be discussing that later. The next route is our Kingston to Saugerties, our KS route. This offers services between the Kingston Plaza and Saugerties via Albany Avenue, Tech City, and Route 9W. Hours of operation for this run are Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. And Saturday, we have service available as well. And we provide service to the mall area upon request after hours between 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. The KS route provides services to Kingston, the town of Ulster, Lake Katrine, and Saugerties. Next is the Mall Loop route. This is a continuous loop along Ulster Avenue. It is a free transfer from the KS route. And if you do want to go between store to store, it is just 50 cents. And the first and last run of the day are expresses from Kingston to town of Ulster via Sawkill Road. Next is the New Paltz Loop. This is a continuous loop around the village of New Paltz. SUNY New Paltz students and faculty can ride this bus for free. There is a daily service. It is 7 days a week, and it services the village of New Paltz. Next is the R route. The R route is service between Kingston and New Paltz, covered by Route 32. Trailways also provide service along the same corridor, and we service Kingston, the town of Ulster, Bloomington, Tilson, the town of Rosendale, and New Paltz. Next, we have the Ulster Poughkeepsie Link. This offers services between the Rosendale Park and Ride and the Poughkeepsie train station along Route 32 and 299 and then 9W. This operates 7 days per week, and it provides service to Tilson, Rosendale, New Paltz, Highland, and Poughkeepsie. Again, because this route crosses county lines, it is a different fare structure. Next, we have the W route, which provides services between New Paltz and Walk Hill via Route 208. It operates 5 days a week, and we have 3 trips daily. This run does have very low ridership, but we do provide service to New Paltz, Gardner, and Walk Hill. Next up is the X route. This provides service between New Paltz and Newburgh via Route 32. This run does operate 5 days a week, and it provides additional service to New Paltz, Plattekill, Modena, and Newburgh. This is the final route that we have that crosses county lines, so it does have a different fare structure as well. And then finally, we have our Z route. This offers service between Kingston to Pine Hill via Route 28. This run does operate 6 days a week, and it provides services to Kingston, Town of Ulster, Town of Kingston, West Hurley, Woodstock, Shocan, Town of Olive, Phoenicia, Pine Hill, Bel Air, and the Town of Shandaken. Next thing I'll be discussing is our paratransit and senior services. So paratransit service is available if you live within Ulster County in a service area, are unable to use the fixed route service due to a disability, and you may apply for the services. To determine eligibility, riders must complete a certification application. The last 2 pages of the application include a medical verification form that your doctor or any medical professional that can attest to your disability can complete. Forms are available online. They can be requested via email, or you can call our dispatcher scheduling offices and ask for them to send you an application, and they'll be happy to put you in the mail. Visitors can use the service for 21 days by presenting documentation from their home jurisdiction. Basically, if you were approved for paratransit service with a different entity, we accept that as a visitor's basis, and you just have to show us that proof of eligibility. Next up is our senior services. The easiest way is to sign up via the Office for the Aging, and I can show you screenshots in a couple minutes of what it looks like on their website. Seniors are entitled to 2 medical and 1 shopping trip per week, and it's free because it is sponsored by Office for the Aging. The only criteria is you have to live in Ulster County and be 60 or older in age. This is a breakdown of our shopping bus that we have, because we have different buses that service different areas of the county. And this can be provided later on if anyone would like additional information. Go ahead. Got it. Okay, so on our website, this is the application that someone would be required to fill out online. It's very simple information, just asking for your name, your address, your street number, your home telephone number, and then it asks you for your date of birth, if you have Medicaid, and then emergency contact persons. And then we ask for some questions regarding mobility. And then, because this is a website form, there's a simple CAPTCHA. And then finally, because people love to know the voices on the other end of the line, the 2 people that seniors and those with disabilities will be calling to and speaking with are our lovely schedulers, Tommy and Barbara. And this is just so people can put a friendly face to the friendly voice that they talk to when they call. We have our dispatch office. They are open Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 11 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, they're open from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. The number to call is 845-334-8458. And dispatchers are available to answer questions about the routes, the schedules, the fares, information about bus passes, and they can offer any information regarding other UCAT services. And that is the conclusion of our scheduled presentation. We thank everyone for attending. And at this point, I think we're going to open it up to any QA, or we have applications available here if anyone would like to take them for the paratransit services or the senior services.
Yeah, I think we're all set. You're wrapping up. We are going to open up for Q&A. Obviously, it's a very, very small group tonight. The good thing is that the whole presentation will be available to everyone. And I think that we'll be able to just educate more people around the county about the system and what services that we provide, and we'll continue to do that. So we'll open it up for questions.
I wanted to ask about a few things for the city of Kingston in particular. So I understand that the buses are going to stop every block on Broadway, right?
They will if you flag them, but we ask that you flag them at the end of the block.
On Broadway.
Or you're standing there.
Correct. We used to be able to pick up and drop off anywhere, but with the increased traffic and construction going on, to make it safe for everyone involved, we're asking people to stand at the corners instead of the block.
Okay. All right. So that's not where the fence is going. The plates.
So once the streetscapes are done, we would be able to reassess our bus stops and either list them or
Yeah,
change where.
this change is for, the last I heard is that the Broadway streetscape and all the work that they're doing just right outside this building is set to potentially be completed by the end of September. And I know that you had actually reached out about this issue and bus stops along Broadway, and we are going to be meeting with the city to kind of get that underway. But for the time being, what we're seeing is a lot of people are flagging the bus in very unsafe locations. Obviously, a lot of Broadway is dug up at the moment. I myself had a near miss with one of the ditches. So right now, the safest place is at the corners of each block. And then, yeah, I think this is the solution we've come up with during the construction. And after we have this meeting, there are some planned actual pads for new bus shelters and benches. We're going to work with them to kind of redo how we actually service Broadway so that's the Blue Route and also with the KPL bus for those that are riders. But for the time being, they're saying end of September, but I feel that for at least the next 3 to 4 months, we're going to be stopping at the corner.
Right. And yeah, the KPL bus was supplemental bucks for the corridor for Kingston. Some people don't like to use it because it's not free and you can't transfer to it as easily, but I think we're going to get more and more varied ridership coming up soon to support the bus system. People who are coming in from places that are used to riding the buses who might have the ability to pay for the KPL. So hope that it's there's a lot of I'm hoping for a lot of growth with the bus system. I know that the rapid gentrification in Kingston is going to do mostly harm, in my opinion, but we actually can benefit if we make sure that we try to benefit where we can from it. So you said bus shelters, plural. I know that the original plans for the Broadway streetscape only called for one, but are you saying that there's talk of trying to get more?
I think that we will try to look at getting more if there's locations. Honestly, haven't spent much time with the Broadway streetscape plans, but I think as a result of your communications with people. We are going to have that meeting and, see where they are going to be available. I think that just the having access to exactly where the benches are going to be placed is going to help us determine what will be a safe spot. But we really have to think about it holistically with the new bike lanes that are going to be on Broadway as well, to just make sure it's as safe as possible for everyone as the buses stop and pick up passengers.
Okay. For Kingston, I know that, I understand that we have to figure out a way to maintain the bus shelters after we get them. But is there a way that you recommend for people to, if they realize that their neighborhood or their building really needs a bus shelter, if it's identified by neighborhood, a place that the neighbors really realize that a bus shelter they believe would be appropriate, is there steps that people should take to try to advocate for getting a bus shelter, and engaging their older person to try to figure out what the maintenance system would be for that going afterwards? Do you
Yeah, that's a great question. So in other municipalities outside of the city of Kingston, UCAT and Ulster County does have agreements in place with the municipality to do the actual maintenance of the bus shelter. Obviously, the shelters are generally serving the people that live in that area. So in your case, constituents or something like that. So it does make sense for, the municipality or, for example, some of the new housing that is going up is looking at maybe having shelters through WUPCO. So maybe they would be responsible for the maintenance. Unfortunately, we don't have the bandwidth and staffing to take that on as well. Our focus is really on recruitment of drivers and people who keep the transit system safe. So, those types of responsibilities, we'd really like if other entities take that on. And as for advocating for a bus shelter, you can obviously engage your elected, but you can also let us know. We are always open for comment. And the best way to really get something is to show that there's a need for it. So if there's a lot of ridership, if it's somewhere where the driver knows that they pick up a lot of people, and a shelter would make things better, or keep people safe from the elements, etc. It's an easy way to try to advocate for one.
Anybody else have a question?
I have some questions for you. Go ahead, Chris, first.
Okay, thank you. The hours of the bus, I still am hoping that we can continue to expand the hours of the buses in the city of Kingston. I'm interested to understand and it does look like there's a sort of you guys have been looking at this and trying to figure out how to best shape the hours. For instance, the red bus being demanded after a certain hour, but the blue bus, which is that central bus, expanding its hours. Can you tell us a little bit about the thinking behind that? And is there anything that we might understand in terms of thinking towards the future of hopefully getting Sunday service eventually and having evening service, and how the two things that I'm thinking about are the two routes that have a later service. The KS has those long hours, and if I understand correctly, that's because they're like connecting towns to the malls. And then, so I imagine jobs, getting to your job. And then the New Pulse Loop, how is the New Pulse Loop funded?
I'm going to take these questions, and then specifically to your question about why we're expanding the blue and yellow, I'm going to let Mike kind of piggyback on whatever my answer is. So my answer to a lot of these questions is just driver shortage. We would like, as you saw from our presentation, we run 7 days a week. We have a dispatcher on site. We are open, but it's really an issue with safe staffing levels. So you hear a lot about that for in the health field, but we have the same issues. We cannot have our limited drivers right now. I think we're hovering around 65 for our staff. and 45 and change of those are actually drivers. We need to be able to have drivers that are working human hours. They're carrying people. So there's a severe CDL driver shortage around the country, especially in this area. So that's really what's holding us back from really expanding. And obviously there's other issues tied into that, because we're excited and proud to say that our staff are union, but with that comes things like night differential and increased costs for Sundays, as it should. And it's really, but I think that if we show, COVID really threw a curveball into our plans and trajectory, because we really wanted to see, we don't have a good data set now for the city of Kingston for consolidation. We had 6 months, and we did make some changes during those initial 6 to 8 months, but then immediately thereafter we went into pandemic mode and suspended service, and we're seeing ridership levels that were hovering at 25 to 30% of where we were. So now we don't know what the demand actually is in the city of Kingston. So that's like one issue, that if we can really show, especially the summer, that the need is there and that people really want to be riding, especially on the weekend where we do see very low ridership. That's how you could get something like Sunday service, for example. The other question that you had was about how New Paltz is funded. So the town actually offsets the town of New Paltz and SUNY New Paltz pay a portion that offsets the service, and that's why they have it. And they actually contribute to having a weekend dispatcher on call and the weekend mechanic on call. So that's actually why all of the services that we have 7 days a week. So that's New Paltz Loop and the link service to the Poughkeepsie train station. That's how they have the ability to have Sunday service. That's a question we get a lot from a lot of different municipalities. Well, why does New Paltz get it? Well, New Paltz actually, pays for that. And I think that answers most of your questions, and you were just gonna speak a little bit more.
The blue and yellow brown, those times, because that's where we saw with all the analytics, that's where we're picking up and dropping off the most people at the most hours. After that, it substantially died down. So it's one of those things, it's, the supply versus demand. If there's enough people who are requesting, okay, we need service later on in the day, and it's enough of a ridership to offset the cost of having a dispatcher, having a driver and do all these things, then we're absolutely for expanding the service, but it has to be as it's needed. That's why we made the red bus on request for those last 2 loops, because we still want to offer the services available, but the flip side is it had very limited usage during those times. So, the more people that ride the bus, the more people that utilize the services, the more we'll be able to increase it. And then obviously, as we touched on earlier, actually hiring and finding drivers is also a challenge. But
And that allows for them to step.
correct. It's always a combination. We would love to operate that bus throughout the entire operations that were open, but it's demand. So if there is a demand, that feeds we have to have drivers, we have to find drivers. But as of right now, those extended hours past what we're putting right now, there's no demand.
Thank you very much.
My question is related to frequency and reliability. I missed the beginning of the presentation, so I wonder if there's going to be any change in frequency.
So the service change in August is mostly an expansion, with the exception of the red bus, which is now on demand. So it's not really, less service, but the frequency, we're actually increasing for the most part. We're adding back. There's a route in some runs that had been eliminated because of COVID and then driver shortages over the past 16 and change months. So it's mostly an expansion, I think, with the exception of the red bus, the only one that's not, and it's not less. You can still request a pickup if you're all along that route. So, with respect to frequency, no, there's a little slight modifications, few minutes to some of the start times, and that's just so the system is better integrated, actually. We noticed that on the W route, for example, from Wallkill, it wasn't connecting with the bus that goes to Poughkeepsie. So if you made a change by a few minutes, you could get someone who's coming, all the way from Wallkill to go to Poughkeepsie. So we did make some changes like that. Does that answer your question? Did you want to add to that?
Well, one of the bigger changes that we made was one of the top, I don't want to say complaints, but for lack of a better term, that we had was service between Kingston to New Paltz in the afternoons. So we have extended those services as well. Now we offer more times in the evenings. People can get from Kingston to New Paltz.
I'm going to hand it to
No, I'm
Tony.
good.
No?
I just, is that what you meant by the frequency, or are you talking about the city of Kingston routes where you don't have an hour headway?
Yeah.
That's what I thought maybe you were thinking of.
More and more buses. I use the blue route, and the KPL bus sometimes comes through, and I wonder why not just have it be free within the city of Kingston, so people can feel like more frequent buses are coming, because the demand question to me seems like a chicken and egg.
I was thinking the same thing, yeah.
Well, we way back in the day experimented with having a free section of that, but then the people were refusing to get off the buses. So they would say, "Oh, I'm only going to Broadway," and then so it's as of right now, in January, we're going to have to pay for the bus anyway.
There might be a solution to our riders who are actually our riders that we might be able to come up with a pass or something that would encourage people to just use the best bus that's available to them, so they don't have to
And like
do
Mike
that.
said, once Kingston starts charging for their routes, that may be different also.
Yeah, we will try to, that's a great point, and we will try to figure out a way, because you never want the situation where somebody is just not using the bus, that they do mirror each other. And I do think that it is an express bus, and we do have options now where you can get a bus pass and an unlimited bus pass and use the entire system on a monthly basis, and there's no, it's a very economical option. I heard it in the room earlier today that the cost of gas has gone up by a lot. So, we really want to encourage people to ride, because a lot of these solutions and things could be possible if we have more riders.
And same question. So I use the UCAT app, and it doesn't seem like it's integrated in real time with the bus. Like when I was coming here for this meeting, the app showed that the bus had left, and I was just standing there, and then the bus came.
So right now, due to COVID and with some of the changes and the variances and schedules that we have right now, the app isn't 100% accurate, but come August, with all the system schedules and the quote unquote return to normal service, that would be there. The apps are updated. The actual GPS is located every 3 seconds. So for that kind of lag, I truly don't understand. The only thing I could say was it was possibly one of those, the red, the blue, the yellow, where we're having modified schedules right now. But yeah, in general, that app is updated every 3 seconds with real-time information.
And I don't have evidence for this, but I do think that the reception and the Wi-Fi, so that's what everything is relying on. There's different antennas on the bus that are actually feeding this information. But I do think that, I don't know this, but I think all the construction has an impact on it in some way. But I guess I shouldn't really say that, but my phone doesn't work as well, so I'll just use that. Did you want to add to that?
No, but my phone doesn't work driving down Broadway
So,
either. So
I don't know if that has
yeah.
something to do with it, but if you have any issues with the app, with the driver, with anything, you should absolutely let us know. You can always give us a call. If you can call dispatch about where's my bus is probably the most common question that our dispatch office receives. Our dispatchers are there the whole time that we have buses on the road. And then if you have issues like that where the app was not updating correctly, you should UCAT at co.ulster.ny.us is just our general mailbox. If you send it to our attention, we can obviously get in touch with our vendor and make sure that that doesn't happen, because obviously all these things are services that are provided to UCAT and for our riders. So we should know when they're not working. And we'll note the issue that you noted for us today.
The chicken and the egg point, I wanted to just ask a couple questions related to that. In terms of the timing, a realistic goal for a city might be that you can get a bus in the main and most used, middle of, from the top to the bottom of the town. In Kingston, it would be along Broadway up from maybe Kingston Plaza down to the waterfront every 15 minutes. So you miss a bus and another one's coming in 15 minutes. And that in itself increases ridership, because then your groceries are not going to melt. You can actually use it. You can hop on, hop off, and you can start to rely on it and get rid of your car. It moves beyond people who have no other choice to people who might opt into it if it's a bus service that's comparable to the abilities that people who have a car have. Your ridership increases, and that makes me wonder about New Paltz. Should Kingston be trying to get sort of like, if Kingston figured out a way to get funding to do it for a year to increase ridership, would they be stuck with it forever? Or could UCAT look at that data and then take it over later? Could there be some sort of pilot program, a demonstration thing? And then just quickly, additionally, is we don't have any signage at all. So people who are new to the system or who don't have phones with them are not able to get to you can't tell that there even is a bus system here.
So to your second part, we are working on new signs that are going to be coming. They're replacing the old bus stop signs that have identification markers on them and say, this is a bus stop. Either go online or call this number and say, I'm at stop 104 or whatever it may be. And then they'll be able to tell you, okay, you're at this bus stop. This is the bus you're going to be looking for. These are the times. And there will be a QR code that people can scan that will bring up the schedule, that you can tell exactly where you are and where you're looking to go. So again, this is all part of the next phase of, where we're rebranding, we're working on the schedules, we're upgrading our services that we offer in unison with the bus app, with the Google services and that as well.
And just to answer your question about having pilot programs, that just goes back to not having, we have to have enough drivers to operate the routes that we're on the hook for with the Federal Transit Administration that we have to run. So those are always going to take precedence over expansion. I believe we have 12 vacant driving positions open right now. We have drivers who are taking overtime every week. So it's really, our issue is really trying to onboard qualified CDL drivers. Now, there might be people who are drivers, but, in order to operate a heavy bus and heavy vehicle, it takes some training. We do have a trainee position open that we can actually provide the training, but it's just been very, very difficult. We're competing with the private sector, obviously, where CDL drivers are also in demand. There's going to be an Amazon plant in Orange County. So, it's not an easy time for us to do recruitment, but we are going to put a lot of energy into that over the next few months to try and onboard some qualified drivers. We're really lucky to have a lot of amazing drivers that are very experienced and have been doing this for a long time. So we definitely want to maintain that level of quality. But, all of these things are, like I said before, things that we could probably do, but we need people to make them happen. Yeah. Any other questions? We'll be on hand. I want to wrap up the stream portion, but we'll be here for a little bit longer. Does anyone have anything
Thank
to
you for
add?
coming.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
very hot day. I'm really excited that this will be available to people because we haven't had that before. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we have hats also.
Yeah,
You should
we will.
definitely get a hat. 'Cause you've been